So what are we going to talk about today?
I thought you were going to take another jab at me.
Oh yeah, it's always good to have a jab at you, publicly. It was on the back of what happened last night, which was so interesting, and I think we might be following on from last week, where you basically had been out all night, and
not that late. Came home at 10:30.
At my age, that's tantamount to being a dirty stop out. Anyway, at 10:30, by that point I was in bed and you came in, and I think, being the dutiful husband, I imagined that you'd want to connect, and I felt like connecting too. And so I don't think I made a forceful effort to connect, and I think it was actually kind of a natural effort to connect. But nevertheless, you sat down on the bed next to me, and the process of connection began.
Jeez.
And I don't know what happened, but at some point, and we were connecting, the rapport was going very well, we were getting along famously, and then I think I made some comment about a restaurant that you were either planning to go to, or oh yes, it was about, you were planning to go to a restaurant on Sunday, and I didn't know where that restaurant was. So your reaction to that was very, very subtle. But there nevertheless I was reading dismay and concern, and you are a complete bozo in your face. And it was so interesting because I think that those kind of cues I probably got on board and started to go down that rabbit hole very quickly earlier in our relationship, and things could escalate into dire straits in a matter of seconds. But I think that I was noticing what was going on, and rather than react to it, I actually looked at it with a different lens, a lens that was more about interest. So I don't know, do you want to give some feedback, because I know you've accused me of monopolizing all the time. Because I could go on.
I know, it's like a never-ending vlog about me doing things
me taking up all the available time.
Well, what's interesting for me about that is that I don't remember saying anything, but it felt like you were reading my mind, and I was being, well, you didn't get angry, but if you had got angry, you would have been angry at me for what I was thinking, not what I was saying, and it feels kind of unfair.
I know, but what's so interesting about that is that I could pick up on a subtle social cue, mm-hmm. and react to it, because I'm reading the sort of the in a sense the unseen language. I mean, actually that's a misnomer in itself, because it's a seen language. Mm-hmm. And I could even not be that conscious of it, but something is just somehow something has come into the equation where the feeling of connection, the well-being, has gone up in smoke, and so I feel kind of all sort of discombobulated in that experience. And I think that, I would have probably immediately, my mood would have dipped and probably plummeted. But last night I was kind of more in a place where I was just kind of curious and interested about that. And I actually said to you, this would be the point probably where rapport is brought into question, and that's a slippery slope. But I can see how that's just my thinking.
So it's interesting because I basically just had some thoughts, and you happened to be accurately reading my mind, because I wasn't thinking you're a bozo, but I was incredulous. Like, how can you not know where this restaurant is? It's like so close to our home, and we drive by it all the time. Anyway, but those thoughts must have just been going across my face, and you felt that. But really, what you just said now is that you realize it was your thinking, so you're not feeling whatever thoughts I'm having going across my face, or even if I said something. Like, what do you see in that?
What do I see in that? I see that, there's also, one has to take into consideration, the separate reality side to it all. But I think what I'm curious about is how I can immediately, my mood is I'm allowing that experience to color my mood, or doing it inadvertently, that it just sort of, it can in the past, in the past it's kind of overwhelmed me, and I've gone to a place of reactivity pretty quickly. But now I can see how that is just thought, and that if I get my thoughts on board with that, then it can quickly run away from me. And what's interesting also that happened last night is that there was another part, while I was in this place of observation, rather than reactivity, and being kind of curious and interested about the experience that was going on inside my head. I could then see how a little bit later on, I think there was a little bit of residual upset. It was as if it was an old pattern that really wanted to rear its ugly head, but I wasn't allowing it to get any momentum or giving it any attention. But I could see how something could crop up in conversation at a later point. Maybe I didn't want to engage with you, maybe I didn't want to lock horns with you, but I could actually get the sentiment that was there engaged in something else. So I noticed that there was a point later on in our conversation where we started talking about something that I was having a challenge with, something that I was finding difficult, and I immediately latched onto that with all that negative sentiment. Not that there was a lot, but I could see how it wanted to latch onto something, it wanted to express itself. And then we were joking about how, you could have a fall guy. We were talking about a fall guy, and that fall guy could be Tom, Dick, or Harry. And then we were joking around saying that, I'm really mad at you, but I'm going to take it out on Dick. Dick is my guy. He's my go-to guy. He's how I'm going to be. And I have done that on numerous occasions in the past. I can see how that negativity I wanted to funnel into something or someone, and that's just come from one little tiny little movement of your eye could have snowballed into something else and built up momentum. And just to me, that just is a real indicator around the power of thought and thinking. How we can just get into illusion of something. Not there was a little social cue, but it's still how I'm responding to it, how I'm taking it personally. That's where I see the illusory nature, how my thoughts are wanting to build on it and coagulate around it and create some drama.
Because in my mind, that thought just comes and goes. Like I get incredulous about some things about you. Like I talked about with you not being able to find any of the emails I send you, or not having any of the numbers for anyone, and like I'm your personal secretary.
Yeah.
It's like I'm like, how can you not have this information? But it comes and goes. It's not something that I hang on to. I don't even necessarily say anything to you about it. So in my mind, I'm not doing anything wrong that I have that thought. I can't help it.
And the choice I have is, do I want to take this personally or not?
Right.
And the worst decision I can make in that scenario is to take it personally.
Right.
And then go off on a tangent.
Yeah. Because
and want to stick the knife into Dick.
But I love you, and I think you're really intelligent, and I just find it interesting and sometimes infuriating when you don't remember things. But I don't think it means anything to do with anything other than me being impatient in the moment. It's not about you.
Well, that's reassuring.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.